Hi everybody, it's Carla from Casey Creates, and I have a little project share I want to show you today. I'm drinking coffee from one of my, hold on, where's my camera? One of my cups. I'm a potter and I love to make mugs, and I actually use them. So bear with me here a minute, I'll get set up. But I made a fabric lace junk journal, kind of vintage shabby chic. It's kind of all that. And I want to tell you before I get started, this is the back. Two of my favorite crafters. It's hard to say that because there's so many I love, but Crissiecrosser, I think is her name. She does these gorgeous vintage journals, junk journals, and her craftsmanship is impeccable. And then Ruby at Little Books. I love how they mix and match patterns, and they're not afraid to throw in like quilted fabric, rose pattern fabric, all different little twists and buttons and subtle little details and they tie together so perfectly. And so I decided I want to try that because that's really my style. So I made this journal over the weekend. I'm really happy with it and I wanted to share it with you. So there's lots of different patterns going on here, but this is the back. And I did a lot of sewing on my sewing machine, but I also did some gluing. And this was a little piece of ribbon that I made from the actual original fabric that is on the pages of my journal. And this is some Laura Ashley fabric that I found with the rose patterns, and I love it. It had like the tea dyed beige kind of color, but some of them I still tea dyed anyway. And I tore them so they would have the raw edges, which made it a lot more shabby, and I love that too. So this is the back, and I was really happy I could start using some of the stash that's been coming in from my challenges, and this doily that's on the back here is one of them. And then I made a little clip here, but I'll show you that in a minute. There we go. I want to make it a little more in center. So here's the front of the journal. Let's see. I can get my, this is just some vintage rayon seam binding for the bow, and then I should move my coffee, I don't want disasters. And then it's tied with that, and the piece on the back loops around to the front, and you just take the rayon seam binding and untie it like so. So this loop comes around, and I probably could put like a pretty button there or something, but for now I like the shabbiness of the seam binding. And so this is where I've layered some doilies and trim. There's a little lace, crochet lace trim here, and then this is some lace trim. I don't know if I can get to it there. It's kind of got a coral peach color to it, and then this is a solid pink color, and then a vintage doily wrapping around those. And then in the corners I just took some of the same lace. This lace on the back comes from a top that I upcycled, or repurposed I should say. There's a little bit of tattered fabric underneath there, and from that lace I cut out these little corner pieces here and here. And then I have a little dangle cameo there, and a cluster of roses. This is a fabric rose, and then the rest are ribbon roses, and I mounted them on top of a satin bow here, just satin ribbon. And then I love eyelid lace trim. This has like a sheer netting background, and then I laced some pink satin ribbon through the top. And this ribbon is really pretty, and you can put any lace or any ribbon, I mean this trim, and you can put any ribbon you want through it. So I chose the soft pink for this piece. And then I put a line of just a really thin eyelid lace trim here. And you may not be able to see it, but there's a little bit of tattered, torn cotton fabric under there and here. And then I put another lace trim underneath that. So this is the front cover, and everything in this book is kind of got a peachy pink undertone to it. in case the camera is not doing it justice. So my first page is a pocket page, and it has some doily trim here, and it's mounted on the center of another doily, and then there's just a nice little cotton lace bow, and then in the center of the bow I put a little flower with a pink flat back pearl. And again, the fabric is the Laura Ashley cotton fabric that I covered the book. I will say I did this whole book form and everything out of cardboard, and it was quite time consuming, but it was very much worth it. I enjoyed the whole process. So here's a little pocket I stitched, and then inside I put a little envelope, which these are fun little paper bags that I found in a thrift store find, and there were tons of them. And then I just made it into a pocket, and you can put, you know, what about a couple aspirin in case you need an aspirin, or I don't know, 50 cents in case you need a phone call. That's probably obsolete nowadays, but I don't know, I was thinking practical. But that makes it vintage. If you actually find a phone booth somewhere, you should take a picture. Okay, so this is my pocket page, and on all the seams of every page I use the same cotton lace just to cover the seam. And then the next page is a sachet page, which I'm really excited about. This was hooked, it's a Tim Holtz piece that was hooked to the little sachet thing in case it fell out, but then I made a little belly band for it out of lace here as well. But let's start at the top. So this one has just some pretty lace trim. I've cut this many different ways to use it as embellishment. So this one has normally this like circly swirly pattern, which I cut and used at the bottom of each page as well. And what's fun about my little sachet, well, let me show you the page first so you can open and close the clip. And what I did was I just hooked it on to the clip, but you don't have to. And then there's a pretty little pink cameo here. And then I had seen a scrapbook page where there was just, it was printed different strips of lace. I didn't really like it at the time, but now that I've created a page with it, with the real lace, I really do like it. And it has eyelet lace trim and some cheesecloth, and then several different trims. This is one whole piece, a double-sided scalloped eyelet lace with a lace piece going down the middle. And then this is the burlap and pink. It's edged in really soft pink lace on each side. I just picked this roll up at Michael's, and I like how it has the rough and the delicate all blended in one. But the fun part about this one to me was I made a sachet bag to go in it, and I put lavender in it, and I made it so that you can take the sachet out when it starts to lose its scent and put a new one in. And yes, this was kind of putsy, but I don't know, I just kind of liked working in a putsy manner with this. So I stitched up this little lace bag, and then inside I used a bit from an organza bag that some of my challenge pieces came in, and I decorated that too and put lavender inside. Oh, it smells so good. But it's just to show you that you can take the little bag out and make another sachet and drop it down in there and tie it back up. And when I have time and I'm not on camera, I'll tie it in a pretty bow. But for now, I'll just give it a quick little cinch just to show you. And then you can just tuck it back down into the belly band like that. And there's my sachet page. And it makes the whole book smell really pretty. And then if you're going to carry it around, you probably want to hook it in with the little hook so that it won't drop out of the book. So it's a pocket page, my sachet page, and the next page is another pocket page. It's a side pocket. And these I dyed with avocado dye a while ago. This is trim off of a garment again, and then I used the backing of some crocheted lace that was also cut out of probably, I think, the same garment, and they all got the same amount of dye, so they're all pretty consistent in color. And then I put some pink flat back pearls. I don't know if you can tell, but that's a flower on the lace, so that I just kind of made that the center of the flower. And then this is the tea dyed one. I think you can maybe see the contrast, so for the side pocket. And then this is just some heavier, what do they call it, Chinese braid trim to edge the pocket. A little ribbon rose here that's on top of a crocheted flower embellishment. And then my satin rolled rose that I made, I put a little glue down in the crevices and I pressed on it because I really wanted it to kind of have a nice flat look like that. And then the side pocket has some postcards, and I printed out postcards. I think these are Tsunami Rose, and they're scripture cards. We grew up memorizing scripture, and I really find it a very valuable tool in my life right now as an adult. It has been for years, but anyway, these are really pretty, and I inked the edges just to give them more of a vintage look. This one I added some trim, and I put a backing on it, so this one has a scripture on the front and the back, and this one is just plain with a little bit of ink around the edges. And then on the back of this one, I had fun. I mounted it on some scrapbook paper, but I used one of the canceled stamps from mail that came in one of my challenges, because I really find that that's a cool keepsake. So these are the two postcards that just tuck into my little side pocket here. And then this is another pocket page with a lot of it going on. This is a strip of vintage fabric, floral fabric that's tea dyed, and then I gathered it and left the raw edges so that it would have some shabbiness to it. And then I took this trim and attached a little aged looking charm. It even has some patina coming through on it, so it's getting a little greeny, but I like that because it makes it more vintage. And then this is a little flower embellishment, if you can see that. It's got a teeny bit of bling in there. I don't think it's going to show up. This lace pocket is lace that I found just last week at the thrift store, and it has this wonderful green color, and I just doubled it to make a pocket. And I'm going to do a haul video soon and show you, but it came from a table runner. And then I trimmed it out with some thin trim, and then I made a tag to go down in there. And this tag I stitched it because I like that look of the sewing machine stitching. And then I made a little flower from cutting out of this green lace, and I had a little blue clay rose to stick in the center to bring out some of the blue in the tag. And then this is just some vintage avocado dye lace on the edges, and then I put some burlap fibers for the tassel. And then on the back there is just some tea dyed paper on the back, and you can use it for journaling or save it and put it on a gift and use it as a genuine gift tag. I have this beautiful stick pin that was part of one of my challenge pieces, and I'm not going to name the person because I totally just went blank on who sent me that one, but it's gorgeous. And then this is a velvet rose floret that I made with a little crocheted lace flower center and an amber little bling in the middle. So yeah, this is another pocket page. There we go. So there's a pocket page, and there's a pocket page, and then these are the last two pages. And this one is what I call my garden page, because I wanted it to resemble a garden gate here. See if I can get it to go in here a little better. There we go. And then up here I thought these are doilies. Let's see if I can get that in frame. There we go. That I cut sort of in a third and put them around the top, and it's supposed to resemble an arbor. And then I had this trim that I meticulously cut out so that the flowers would be the only thing making the arch. And it's supposed to give it the arch shape of the arbor. And then I snuck a couple little of the dangles off of the altered bag that Shabby made for me, because I haven't found this trim anywhere and I so love it, but it needed those leaves hanging down. And then I have this really pretty embellishment where I cut off a couple leaves to put there. And then there's just a green bow, I don't know if you can see that, and a little daisy flower in the center to center it. And then it's a pocket. And I'm going to pull these out so that you can kind of get a little better feel of how that might look like a garden gate. So this is supposed to resemble the arbor, and that's the garden gate. And then I just stuck a couple of these little cards in here that I antiqued around the edges. And you know, if you're out and you need to give somebody your information, you could maybe snag one of these and write your information, and they'll have a pretty little card to keep it on. And so this is my, what I call my garden gate page, and it has the same tattered gathered trim that was on the other page showing through on this page. Oh, and then there's just a little bling center in the middle. I guess I could have moved that over and it looked like the doorknob of the gate, but you know, you don't have to be that meticulous, I guess. And then the last page is my tea bag page, my tea page. So maybe it's tea in the garden, I don't know. But I made a little clip that was holding on this sweet little tag that is on some of the paper that I like. It's that transparent paper. And it just says love. And then this is just a little snippet from the pink organza bags that I went gaga over. There's no rhyme or reason to this tag. It just adds a little prettiness, I think. And then this page, this flower was from Julie, I think, Julie Drury. Anyway, I love the lace on this flower, and it worked really well here. And then I already had this little button, so I sewed on the button and layered it on a piece of that avocado dyed trim that's on the edging and back of my book. And then, so yeah, I have two little flowers here. And then this, it's also a pocket page, but this corner is from a vintage napkin, or maybe it was a hanky. I think it was a napkin. Excuse me, but I just love the coarse trim there and the color. And then I just trimmed it out again with some avocado dyed lace. And then this is the pocket. So I'll take it out so you can get a full look at the pocket. And then I made a little cluster of buttons with a little dangle of green leaf trim to kind of tie these two pages together. So it's Tea in the Garden, and this is the Laura Ashley fabric. And then this is the pocket I made, and this is funny because I literally put tea in the bag with a little bit of raw coconut sugar. So first of all, I love the way that sounds. And I sewed this on the sewing machine, but inside there is a little plastic bag, and that is coconut sugar, and there's 2 tea bags in there, and so there's tea for 2 in here. And you just close it up like that. I made a sweet little tag with some organza ribbon that I cut from the organza bag, and a little tag that says tea. There's one thing, and then there's this little ladies afternoon tea tag that's good for journaling. I put it on some parchment paper. And then another tag, afternoon tea. It has a pretty rose wreath going around it, and I decoupaged it. And then on the back it has this little window with some lace trim. I don't know if that's even going to show up. And then space for journaling. So I kind of had fun with this tag. And then they all fit back down in this pocket. And I just clip my little love tag back on here. My little clip has the Laura Ashley fabric on one side and the green lace on the other. And I'm just gonna clip that back on there. And that's it. So I'll do a quick page turn again for you. So it's got the Shabby rayon and the front cover. And then there's the pocket page with the little paper bag envelope and the sachet bag with the little pink cameo and this pocket page with the roses and the postcards and the green page with Shabby with the little tag and the beautiful stick pen. And then the last two pages, this is falling off. I can get it back on there. The last two pages that have the little pocket page, my little garden gate page with the arbor. I don't think you can see my whimsical little arbor. And then the tea bag page. So that's that. It was so much fun. Thank you to all the crafters that inspire me and keep me glued to my my computer waiting for new videos. I hope you enjoyed it. I love your feedback, so if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free. This is how it ties back. I take two, tuck one under, and tie it. I want to tell you my challenge has been going wonderful, and I'm about to do a video of 2 more entries that I haven't seen yet, so I'm excited to get to those. But I really wanted to show you my latest creation that really was a ball to create. I loved it. I'm happy, and I'm going to be doing more of these as a result. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Have a happy day.